Hey y'all, you're gonna have to suffer me for this first video. I had planned on sending out audio files, but turns out that's not as easy as I thought via text. So I'm just gonna make videos, post them to YouTube, and you get the link. You don't have to watch the video and look at my ugly face. You can just listen to the audio. So what it's gonna be is I'm just gonna read out loud, here's truly, the chapter of the day. Today obviously is chapter 1. I hope you guys watched the video. If you haven't watched the video I sent a couple days ago, please go back and watch that. It's a Bible Project video all about the book of Proverbs. I think it's really, really good foundation to have before you dive into this book of wisdom. Cool. And then I will have a little commentary at the end that you're more than welcome to comment on, give me feedback on, post comments and all that kind of stuff below the video. And if you need to get a hold of me directly, you have my phone number. Call me, text me, whatever. I probably won't be checking texts on this thread other than in the morning and at night, so I'm not going to get back to you in 2 seconds. So if it's urgent, call me. Otherwise, text me directly if you just want to have a one-on-one. Awesome. Rock and roll. So here we go. This is Proverbs 1. So, the Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair, for giving prudence to those who are simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance, for understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They are a garland to grace your head and a chain to adorn your neck. My son, if sinful men entice you, do not give in to them. If they say, come along with us, let's lie in wait for innocent blood. Let's ambush some harmless soul. Let's swallow them alive like the grave, and whole like those who go down to the pit. We will get all sorts of valuable things and fill our houses with plunder. Cast lots with us. We will all share the loot. My son, do not go along with them. Do not set foot on their paths, for their feet rush into evil. They are swift to shed blood. How useless to spread a net where every bird can see it. These men lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush only themselves. Such are the paths of all who go after ill-gotten gain. It takes away the life of those who get it. Out in the open, wisdom calls aloud. She raises her voice in the public square. On top of the wall, she cries out. At the city gate, she makes her speech. How long will you who are simple love your simple ways? How long will mockers delight in mockery and fools hate knowledge? Repent at my rebuke. Then I will pour out my thoughts to you. I will make known to you my teachings. But since you refuse to listen when I call, and no one pays attention when I stretch out my hand, since you disregard all my advice and do not accept my rebuke, I in turn will laugh when disaster strikes you. I will mock when calamity overtakes you. When calamity overtakes you like a storm, when disaster sweeps over you like a whirlwind, when distress and trouble overwhelm you. Then they will call to me, but I will not answer. They will look for me, but they will not find me, since they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord. Since they would not accept my advice and spurn my rebuke, they will eat the fruit of their ways and be filled with the fruit of their schemes. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm. All right, rock and roll. So that's kind of fun, huh? Proverbs 1. So a couple things I want to point out. First thing is the idea of the very first verse, right, in that entire chapter. The idea of fearing the Lord is like the exact last verse of the book of Ecclesiastes. At the very beginning is about the fear of the Lord. And so it's like the 3 wisdom books in the Bible, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Job. Proverbs is written kind of like a young teacher. If you watch the Bible Project video, I might be rehashing some of this stuff, but it's important to understand the perspective. So the book of Proverbs is written kind of like, if you do this, this happens. So there's a little bit of, hey, good things happen to good people. And if you do bad things happen to you, right? Well, we all know that that's not 100% true. We know that bad things do happen to good people because life is full of circumstance and chance and things we can't control. And bad things happen to good people, just like good things can happen to bad people as well, right? The sun shines on the good and the evil, which is later in this book. So then it goes into the idea of wisdom talking to you. This is now wisdom, the female personification of wisdom, and how she, wisdom, laughs at those who don't listen and then end up finding themselves in trouble, okay? So at a stage of your life where you're young, you're kind of getting started out, maybe you're teen, maybe you're just married, there is a lot of wisdom in this, and it's written kind of for that age bracket. I mean, anybody can read this, but think of this teacher as kind of this person that's teaching, writing this. It is like a father figure, but it's kind of like the young father. Think of a teacher at school, a school teacher who's like, in their 20s, right? They're still young, they're still optimistic, they're idealistic, they have this way of looking at the world that, well, if I do things the right way, right things will happen and good things will happen. So it's written in a very absolute type of way, but it's meant to be that way, with the understanding that, of course, just because you do good things doesn't mean all good things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen as well. So I just wanted to touch on that, and I also wanted to touch on this idea that if you listen, you will live. And listening doesn't just mean hearing the words. Listening means actually applying them. And two things I want to end on. One, knowledge is what you gain from your own experience, right? You touch the stove, you go, oh, it's hot. Wisdom is learning from someone else's experience. Wisdom is watching someone else touch the stove and burning themselves, and then not touching the stoves yourself, so you don't have to experience it. So if you can learn that type of wisdom, and you can be wise enough to find people that have experienced life in ways that you haven't, and maybe are further down the road in life than you are, and learn from their experiences, now you are finding wisdom, because you are now gaining from their experience instead of having to experience the same mistakes or faults or folly that they had or that they made. And then what I want to end with today is I really encourage you to pick out a verse in here that speaks to you, because what speaks to you today is not what's going to speak to you a year or 2 or 5 years from now. So whatever spoke to you, whatever, like, wow, that's something I needed to hear. That's something I need to remember. And just memorize it. If it's one verse, it's a couple verses, if it's the whole chapter, I don't care. But I really challenge you to pick out one verse out of this chapter and memorize it. I don't care if you're writing on a 3x5 card, put it in your phone, play it to yourself a few times. They say if you say something 6 times out loud to yourself, you have about a 70% retention rate that you're going to remember it a month from now, which is kind of crazy when you think about that. So maybe you just have to say it out loud. There's a lot of different ways to memorize, and everybody learns differently, but I would encourage you to do that. All right, y'all, I'm really excited for this. I'm so glad you're doing this. The book of Proverbs is probably the most well-read wisdom literature in the history of the planet. So regardless of your opinions on the Bible, there's great stuff in here, and it's really valuable, I think, for any stage of life, but especially when you're younger. So hopefully this is helping you all out. I'm really, really honored that you're part of it. Again, if you need me, get a hold of me. These videos are probably get better. I'm just figuring this out as we go, so sorry if this is a little janky, not the highest quality production. I'm sure my son-in-law will really appreciate that. All right, y'all, have a great day. Be wise.